Welcome to odds.com MLB playoff coverage. I'm joined by my man Noli Knows as we find the best angles to get you paid. Game 3, Rays Astros is on deck. Petco Park, San Diego, 81 Fahrenheit, clear, 8 miles per hour in is the wind. Although that does die down throughout the game, down to about 5 miles per hour or 4 miles per hour by the final pitch. Yarborough Urquidy is the matchup. The first 5 total is sitting at 4.5. The full game money lines and totals are sitting with the Rays up 2-0 in the series at between minus 105 and minus 120. This total is at 8.5 between minus 108 and minus 115 to the under. Yarborough Urquidy. Yarborough 1-4, 3.56 ERA, 1.19 WHIP, 55 2/3, 44 Ks, 12 walks in the postseason. 5 innings, 1 strikeout, 1 walk. Not being able to get the Ks. 1.40 WHIP, 3.60 ERA. Jose Urquidy 1-1, 2.73 ERA, 1.01 WHIP, and 29 2/3, 17 Ks, 8 walks during the regular season. In the postseason, he's been touched. 5.19 ERA in 8 2/3, 6 Ks, 3 walks with a 1.15 WHIP. The Rays bats have been quiet in the postseason, but they're getting the runs when they need them, and their pitching is being lights out. Against righties during the regular season, 238, 738 OPS. In the postseason against righties, just 188, 637 OPS. The opposite has happened with the Astros. They weren't hitting lefties the way we remember them hitting them. 232, 702 OPS. In the postseason, they've stepped that up enormously. 283, 857 OPS versus lefties. Rays win game 2, 4-2, thanks to a first inning home run from Manuel Margot. Rays up 2-0. Noli Knows. How are you handling this game?
Yeah, this is an interesting matchup here. The Astros are definitely in a hot spot here, especially considering their starting pitching. You know, you got Jose Urquidy going today, and really at a necessity. You know, they've already lost Verlander early in the season. Greinke dealing with his arm issues, pushed back to game 4. But how healthy is he? Not really sure. There's a lot of question marks, even when I hear the interviews with Dusty Baker. So I believe they're in trouble here, especially if they don't get it done in this game here. And to me here, they're at a disadvantage when I look at these pitchers. I mean, Yarbrough, a guy that typically comes out of the bullpen, even as a starter, typically use a opener with him. But being like I said, with these games being back-to-back, they're looking to save their bullpen a little bit. So they decide not to go with an opener and letting them start, something that he wants to do anyway. And the key numbers when I look at are the advanced numbers, and the exit velocity and hard hit rate amongst the lowest in the major leagues for Yarbrough, a guy that's very crafty, uses a cutter, changeup, and a slider, and a curveball. I mean, and the guy that I think is a better pitcher than on the other side for Urquidy. Urquidy is a guy that has pitched decent here in 2020, 2.73 ERA, but got lit up a little bit against the A's. And a big cause for concern is the fly ball rate. You look at it, 23-5 fly ball to ground ball rate here in the postseason, and that's something that's scary. And when I look at his advanced numbers, his exit velocity really low. You look at his xWOBA, his X slugging, all amongst the league lowest. So a big contrast in pitching here. And I believe I have a pitching advantage. And I like the way the Rays have been able to get hits when they need it. Like you said, they're not really tearing the cover off the ball, but they get hits when they need it. If their bullpen gives it up, they find a way to come back and be scrappy and find a way to get runs. If they don't need to, they seem to kind of go stagnant. But here, I think that they're able to get to Urquidy a bit. They don't have a lot of experience against him, but small sample size, and I'm leaning towards the Rays on the first 5.
5 at-bats against Jose Urquidy. 1 hit, a single, 200 average, 200 slugging. Against Yarbrough, these Astros have 47 at-bats. 1 home run, 213 average, 362 slugging, a 607 OPS. You know, I was a little bit surprised to see Yarbrough with just the 1K. I liked his last outing. Thompson threw the first 2 innings, got touched in that second inning, and I was screaming. This was game 4 of the Rays-Yankees series, and I was screaming for Yarbrough to get in there. I had the Rays in that game, and I wanted Yarbrough on the bump, and Cash waited, I think, too long, brought him in the 3rd inning, and then I thought Yarbrough was in complete control, so I'm a little surprised by the 1 strikeout. The more we discuss this game, there's one stat that jumps out at me, and that's the way Astros are hitting lefties right now. 283, 857 OPS in the postseason. That makes me want to back them early, but I don't know if I could trust Jose Urquidy. Do you think you're going to get to the window on the Rays' first 5?
Yeah, the only thing typically is like when I see these games, when a team is beating up on a team already, it's hard to beat a team multiple times. I mean, it doesn't look like that when you look at a lot of the results here in the postseason. Braves still haven't lost, but it is hard to beat the same team over and over. And like you said, the way they've been able to hit some of these lefties, but this is a bit different lefty, like a very crafty, a guy that I like a lot. And just the way that they're able to manage the bullpen, they won't. If the guy gets into trouble in the second inning, they'll yank him, and that's what I like about this team. So, you know, you're always alive. That's why I like taking unders with that team because they always keep you alive. He doesn't leave him out there to dry. So, but I really expect Yarbrough to come out and pitch well. The guy wants to be a starter. He wants to prove himself, and this is a prime opportunity for him.
And I guess it comes down to you not trusting Urquidy. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I definitely don't trust him. I don't believe in some of his numbers. And the last time out against the A's, I was suspect of him, and then he does get lit up. So that just confirmed my suspicions of him. And here, there's no way I'm not going to trust him. That's why I've been riding the first 5 under in the first 2 games of this series. They've been able to cash pretty easily. I mean, well, not today, but still the 1 home run off the air, even if I lose that, I still feel confident in my play, you know, extra out in that inning. But here in this spot, I really don't trust Urquidy here. And I might be on the Rays. I'm just want to see. Honestly, I expect money to come in on Houston.
Yeah. And we do have, as I said, the first 5 wasn't available in Braves Dodgers at my book, but it is available for Rays Astros. I lean towards the Astros touching Yarbrough, and it's just because of the way they've been hitting lefties. I trust Yarbrough more than Urquidy, but as we've talked about, the Rays are getting runs when they need them. They're not hitting very well right now. I could get the Astros at minus 105 at my book. And then full game, I could get the Astros at plus 100. I don't know if that's enough to pull the trigger. This Astros bullpen is being better than expected in the postseason. Although these numbers are going up, 2.20 ERA, 1.08 WHIP. Does the Astros bullpen have enough arms for me to trust them on a full game bet?
I mean, I think the longer this series goes on, definitely the advantage to this Tampa Bay. But here in this game, I mean, their starters have gone pretty deep in the last 2 games. I don't think they're taxed yet. So I think they do have the depth to still pitch in this game. But we're looking full game. That does, I mean, it's tough. You start putting in the Tampa Bay bullpen, and it's hard to argue anybody better. But I guess I understand your lean, but for me, I'm not trusting Houston's bats right now, really.
So you think this is a possible sweep scenario? We're moving into game 3, Rays are up 2-0. You think Rays can sweep this series?
I think they do have a real shot to sweep in this series. You know, it's about this game because Greinke hasn't looked good at all. You know, and they talked about soreness. They talked about how he can't injure it anymore, but they don't talk about the pain too much right now. And so he is dealing with a lot of discomfort. Dusty Baker's comments is what really tells the story. The player says he's fine, but Dusty Baker saying he's really reeling right now, really dealing with a lot. So that's not a guy that I'm going to be trusting in Game 4. And then it goes on. So I think definitely they're on notice for a sweep. They have to win this game here.
I think they can. Yarbrough did not get off to a great start this year, and he came on late. So the 3.56 ERA, 1.19 WHIP over his last 4 or 5 starts, they were very strong. I still think that these numbers that the Astros have put up against lefties in the postseason are real. Their lineup is dangerous against them. And I am going to move on the Astros first 5. And if advice for me here, Noli, I'm going to move on the Astros first 5. I think they can get enough from Yarbrough. If I was saying, you know what, Noli, I think I want to double up, also take them full game, would you advise someone like me not to and to just focus on the first 5? Because we know, regardless of the numbers, bullpen-wise, with the Rays bullpen 3.20, 1.32 WHIP, has not been as good as the Astros bullpen in this short sample size of a postseason. Would you advise me to only take first 5 and not full game?
Yeah, I definitely would, but that's not just that's just my strategy as far as for the games. I tried not to double up on too many games, being that one can lead to the other, destroy the other. So if you're gonna win the first 5 easily and then give it back on the full game, that's something that's always a concern for me. But when you start talking full game, I think Tampa Bay, albeit the numbers in the postseason don't look that great, but I mean, Houston Astros didn't face this red hot Yankee lineup, so those numbers only mean so much. To me, you got to pick a little bit, look a little deeper. And to me, you still have the advantage on the Tampa Bay side. So when you start incorporating full game, you got to start leaning towards them. So, and the way Tampa Bay is playing, you look at the defense, they're making defensive plays left and right. You got a guy falling 6 feet off the side of the side wall to make a catch, and so they're playing really loose, and they look like a real scary team to me, and I'm not getting in the way of that.
So, follow us on Twitter. Noli is at Noli562. I'm at Jimmy the Bag. I guess a first 5 team total over for the Astros could be a possibility, but I think these Astros bats finally do some damage in this series. And not a lot of damage. I think I need 3 runs to get that.
Even today, Jimmy, I'm not going to say. They got held down against Charlie Morton, but you look at those first 3 innings, they were hitting the ball hard. Every single out was hit hard, and that's just baseball, though. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. Like Yogi Berra says, it's unfair. That's just baseball. So they are still hitting the ball hard. But to me, this is just a change of pitcher, and that's what I like. I just like these crafty lefties, and I just like Tampa Bay. Maybe a little biases, hating on the Astros a little bit on my part, but Tampa Bay is scary.
There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Are you going to make an official play on Rays Astros?
I think I'm going to hold off right now, but still leaning towards the Rays first 5.
Well, I am close to doubling up on the Astros, even though you've warned me about such a maneuver. I think I am. I don't see these Astros bats being held down throughout the whole series. I think they're going to be excited to see a lefty on the mound against them. And it'll just be up to Urquidy to slow this offense down. And this offense has not been too prolific so far in the postseason. And that is my plan for Rays, Astros. Any final notes on this game, Noli?
One final note, being the starting time for them, 5:40 p.m. Pacific time, they will be dealing with a little bit of shadows around that time to begin the first few innings. Can be a little bit of advantage for the pitcher, being that they're not able to pick up the ball as much. Maybe something to take into consideration.
which would lead you to be interested in that first 5 under 4.5.
I mean, if someone else is on the fence, for me, I just can't trust Kelly right now. So that's my concern. And like you said, they're hitting lefty. So I mean, I wouldn't see a 1-1 after 5 in this game.
Oh, I feel you. I feel you. There you have it. Rays, Astros, Game 3, Tampa Bay up 2-0 on the series. Thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button for us at Odds HQ here on YouTube and follow us on Twitter, Odds110. Noli knows. Thank you, my friend. Let's have a profitable Wednesday.
Yes, sir, Jimmy. Thank you for having me, man. I'm excited, and hopefully these Dodgers could tie things up for me.
Big day tomorrow. Good luck with your action. Get paid in full.